Good morning. What is happening? Welcome back for another Tuesday training. We're here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. doing our best to bring you some actionable content that you can put out in your business, put into action, and start making some extra cash, right? Start helping some more people and start elevating those renewals because that is what it's all about in this game, right? We've got a great guest on today. I'm super excited. It's a good buddy of mine that I've gotten to know over the last few years in the business. Can't wait to get him on here. But first, as always, we got a little bit of news, so I just want to jump right into it real quick. First and foremost, Kaiser Family Foundation. You guys know about this. I talk about them all the time. They're a great resource to follow, but they've actually got a live webinar tomorrow going over the controversy or unpacking the controversy, as they're calling it, over Medicare Advantage, right? Basically, Medicare Advantage is the rapidly growing private plan alternative to traditional Medicare that provides coverage to about half of the Medicare beneficiaries out there. And they're saying that controversy has arisen recently over a Biden administration proposal for changes to payments to insurers for the coming year, including how the health risk of enrollees is captured, as well as a plan for recouping payments not supported by audits. CMS estimates that the payments to plans per enrollee will increase by about 1% next year, and supporters argue that the approach would help to reduce inappropriate overpayments to insurers. However, critics, including the insurance industry and Republicans in Congress, contend that this represents a cut to Medicare and will lead to higher costs for beneficiaries. So tomorrow at noon Eastern time, 3 experts will join the moderator series, join the series with moderator Larry Levitt in a 45-minute discussion on Medicare Advantage, addressing questions such as what has driven the growth in Medicare Advantage enrollment? What are the implications of enrollment being concentrated in a few insurance firms? Is the federal government overpaying these plans? And what would the new rules and proposed changes do? And certainly, how would those affect beneficiaries? So tomorrow, you got a few people jumping on. We've got their panelists are Jean Fogelstein-Biniak. Probably didn't even say that correctly, but she's the Associate Director Program for Medicare Policy with Kaiser Family. We've got Tom Cornfield from Senior Consultant of Avalere and Richard Cronick, Professor of Family and Preventative Medicine. So if this is something you guys want to check out and register, you can go to Kaiser Family Foundation. You're going to want to look for the March 21 web event, and you can just register right there, and you can tune in and watch it, maybe even ask some live questions and get some feedback from them. So that should be a pretty good one. Next up, we have got a new bill being introduced to protect seniors on Medicare. This was actually a new bill introduced by a state lawmaker that would protect seniors on Medicare, preventing them from being denied supplemental coverage or being charged higher rates. If you read through this article, what you'll find out is that basically Senator Valerie Lawson from Providence, Rhode Island, is making an effort to make Rhode Island a guarantee issue state for Medicare supplement. There's already a few other ones like Massachusetts, Connecticut that are doing that. They're basically thinking about converting that. So chances are next year, because I would bet this gets passed, next year Rhode Island will now also be a guarantee issue state for Medicare supplement, meaning there are never any health questions, never any pre-existing condition clauses. And as we know, as Medicare supplement professionals, well, those rates are going to go up for everybody on Rhode Island. So while it always sounds like a good idea to not have any health questions and pre-existing condition qualifications on a Medicare supplement plan or any type of insurance for that matter, it's not always the best idea. So ultimately, basically look for that. Rates are probably going up in Rhode Island here pretty soon. If you want to look further into that, you can actually find the piece right here. I'll show it to you real quick. Let me pull this back up. Bear with me just a moment. We had a small technical difficulty, but I want to pull this back up for you real fast. There it goes. You should be seeing that on your screen now, but this is the actual bill. You can locate that and look through it, scroll through it. It's a bunch of legal language, but at the bottom, it basically says it right here. Hey, this act would provide all Medicare recipients over 65 years of age applying for Medicare supplement plans guarantee issue rights. And of course, it would take effect upon passage. So look for that one probably coming out here pretty soon. Also coming around, Casey introduces a bill to expand Medicare coverage, and this is going to tie into our program today on dental. But basically, Senators Bob Casey and Ben Cardin, Bob Casey's out of Pennsylvania, Ben Cardin's a Maryland representative, they are introducing now new legislation to include comprehensive dental, vision, and hearing coverage with Medicaid and Medicare plans. Sounds like they're targeting D-SNP plans there, but I don't think so. I believe ultimately, if you look at this, they really want to provide it in all Medicare, or basically in Medicare, original Medicare, and then it would carry over to other plans. So you can actually read through this article here. I found this on the northcentralpa.com website, and then you can even pull up their full bill. Boom, right here, or at least a bit of it. Little, probably a press release for it, right? But it says that over 148 million people in the United States rely on either Medicare or Medicaid as their primary source of health coverage, and yet many lack basic access to dental, vision, and hearing. So they are looking at bringing it in. It's the Medicare and Medicaid Dental, Vision, and Hearing Benefit Act is the formal name of it, and they will include dental, vision, and hearing basically in all items. So there's a couple of times before that different representatives or senators have tried to include dental, vision, and hearing, or even just dental in original Medicare, and every time it's failed. So here's another one going after it. We'll see if this one gets passed. I, for one, think they should put dental in original Medicare. Certainly the rates are going to go up. The price points will go up, but again, they're going to get more benefits. And what that will probably mean is that the Medicare Advantage plans that are out there that have to at least cover what Medicare covers, well, then all of them will be including dental, vision, hearing, and they might even be including more of it. So pretty interesting stuff there, but I want to go ahead and jump into our show today. We have a fantastic guest. I want to get him on here. He is Mr. Andrew Lee from LA. What is up, my California homie?
What's up, Tony Merwin?
Everything, buddy, man. How are you today?
I love it. I love that answer. Everything. I'm going to start using that.
Absolutely. Everything is up. I learned that a long time ago in a sales environment that I was working in. They were super hip on positivity and everything's got to be upbeat and optimistic. So when anybody says, hey, how you doing? Or hey, what's going on? You're like, oh, the rent or whatever. They're like, no. Everything's going on, man. Everything in your life is happening. So be positive and know that everything's moving along. So that's been, that's 25 years ago almost, I think. So that has stuck with me today still, and I still say it pretty regularly. So when you ask me what's going on, I'm going to tell you everything.
Succeeding in life.
Succeeding in life. That's what it's about, isn't it, man? So what's going on out there in Los Angeles? Dude, you're a killer in the ACA space. I think you do some Medicare as well, right?
Yep.
Of course. We are here to talk about dental insurance.
Yeah. Dental insurance. I don't know if this is a topic that's already been discussed on any platform. Actually, I haven't really seen it.
It's been discussed some, but it doesn't get discussed enough, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people talking about cross-selling in different areas, and usually when they're talking about it, they're either talking about cross-selling from life to Medicare or from Medicare to life insurance, or maybe critical illness like cancer, heart, stroke. But you don't hear a lot of people talking about dental and how you can make some good income. And my understanding, and I know you're not a braggart. I know you're not one of those guys that brags, but I know you've gone on a couple of trips and you make a pretty darn good renewal just off of your dental sales.
Just off of dental sales. Exactly. So yeah, I can unpack how that happens, right? So yeah, just a quick intro about myself. I've been doing this for 9 years. I started off at more like an ACA kind of call center kind of environment. And so basically I've been, taught to cross sell everything because I was basically in the ACA field since way back when. So in order to make money in the ACA field, what I was taught was, hey, you need to cross sell, either hospital indemnities or, not hospital indemnity, sorry, any type of cancer, heart attack, stroke plans, any type of, critical illness, accident benefits, things like that. So that was instilled in me from day one. And dental was obviously a no-brainer too, because, dental is dental. The funny thing is it's most likely someone's going to use a dental policy more than their actual major medical, right? And if you guys have sort of been working with people in maybe who are young, in the younger like ACA, demographic, then you'll know that they care sometimes more about their teeth than their actual health, right?
Absolutely, man. The smile is all about it, right?
Right, exactly. So I was figuring, hey, this is something that people need. And, just like ACA itself, this is another product that everybody that has the ability to offer this should offer, right? So in ACA, it's a hand in glove fit because why? Most ACA companies only offer dental for children. That's just
Really?
what it is. Yeah, it's ingrained in it. So children under 19 can get some dental benefits, regardless of if it's an HMO or, whatever it is, on the brochure itself, it says that, they're going to offer children's dental, right? It says
Does that include
children's
like orthodontics and stuff too?
orthodontia in certain cases as well too. Exactly. So, um, so that's what they'll see on the brochure is children's are offered dental, but why aren't the adults, right?
Yeah.
So then it comes down to why aren't you offering this to the adults that need it, right? Now, what I've realized that it's just, I've realized that a lot of people don't cross sell dental. It's just for the most part they don't because there's some limited beliefs. I would say because of let's start with the easy one, the perception of a lower commission, and it's just sort of not worth their time to write, or that they haven't sold themselves. You know, anything that you do with cross selling ancillary products, the number one person you have to sell first in order for you to be successful is yourself, right? The reason why people aren't selling, for the number one reason, this is my number one reason, is the reason why people are not selling or even offering a cross sell is because they're thinking to themselves, hey, well, it's 60, 50 to $61 for this product, and I don't know if they're really going to use that, or I don't know which products to offer. What's the commission on that? Do I have to service them on that? And the answer is yes to all the above. But here's the thing: the reason number three why you don't sell it is because you don't know which companies to use. Now, Tony, if you were in a situation where you were offered, uh, Tony, do you sell any dental companies right now?
Yes, I do.
Now, for example, who's your favorite carrier?
Emeritus.
Emeritus, right? Now, people gravitate towards Emeritus because why? You've sold yourself on saying, hey, Emeritus actually has good coverage. If I'd
Mhm.
agree with you too on that. Um, and you sold yourself that, hey, you might even have the product yourself, that hey, if a client is in a situation when dental can get pretty expensive for claims too, if you're thinking about all of these random clauses they have too, like a missing tooth clause, and if you're not up to date on that kind of stuff, it does get a little bit confusing, and people are like, well, I don't really want to do that because I don't know how much they're going to offer my client to pay for whatever procedure they got done. So that's just another limiting belief. But again, you have to sell yourself. You have to tell yourself that this is the product that you're offering, because I believe in it, because I know the numbers. I'm looking at what's the out of pocket maximum for Emeritus these days.
It depends on the plan that you get, but like the one I've got, because I do have Emeritus, is 2,500.
2,500, right? So you're looking at 2,500, and that you sold yourself that because that was the highest limit, right,
Hmm.
for that you can get in terms of coverage, and there might not be a waiting period, and this, that, and the other. So what a lot of people don't know to do is research these companies, because another thing is because of reason number two, the perception of lower commission. They don't want to go out and do all that work, right? And because they don't know the information on what's out there, that trails back to reason number one. You haven't sold yourself. It's all a
Right.
mindset thing. So that's the number one reason. That's the number one thing I would really want to harp on is you have to sell yourself in order to sell any ancillary products, even cancer, heart attack, stroke. You got to know the numbers. You got to see all the people that have cancer that are your clients, family members. You got to have all of that information in there to make a educated decision on, okay, this is actually going to help people. This is actually a product that people are going to use, and I'm going to be the best person offering that product because I did my research, I vetted all of these people, and I personally believe in it. When you have that kind of logic, when you have that kind of awareness, then these things sell itself, right? At the end of the day, how does a dental sales call go? Hey, also, did you need dental? And they say yes, right?
Yeah.
That's generally what it is. If they say no, then it's a no. So it's an order taking thing, right? It's dental is an order taking thing where it's, do you want fries with that? The actual burger being, the whatever major medical plan you got them, right? So
Hmm.
it's just a matter of asking as well too, and or at sometimes you can assume the sale too. So it's all about the wording as to how you're going to cross sell it too. You can flat out ask them, and you need a dental and vision too, right? Did you want to add that on? And if they say yes, great. If you want to go a level above that, then you would go, so I know that you reached out to me here because it looks like you're needing some major medical coverage. So maybe something for, and just realistically, just hearing your story, you're probably going to use this maybe once a year at the very most, twice even. So your major medical, you're not really using too much. So you're basically just going to have to use this for maintenance, right? Be it dental, be it major medical, like just regular doctor visits, and God forbid, hospitalization. Is that correct, Mrs. Jones, or whatever you call them? And if they say yes, that's a tie down, right?
Right.
If they say yes, they said they wanted dental, right? But I asked it in a different way, So again, it's these are small little things where you can how you can ask. That might be a difference in between, hey, okay, so now your plan is $280. Let's say Obamacare planner. Now your Medicare plan G is going to be at $400 with everything combined together, including Part B. Now, did you want to add $61 worth of dental coverage?
Mm.
Not
Not the
not
greatest way to ask.
not the greatest way to ask after you laid down the whole, and of course, with ACA people and those that are in Medicare, I know a lot of you guys target people that are turning 65 or almost there. So anybody in their 60s, that they're paying so much for their coverage if they're not
Hmm.
getting extremely subsidized or have a good deal with their work. They're getting the shaft. That because it's based off of age and their income and their zip code, and generally if you have savings or investments, and how some people in their 60s, they're sort of planning for retirement, they're going to have some extra coin that they're starting to take out from their retirement. So just something that you want to definitely ask. And so people are, like I said, most likely to use dental more than going to the actual doctor unless they have severe medical problems, right? For example, I had a client the other day. He's a young guy. He's probably like 25 years old. I haven't heard a peep from him about the actual major medical plan I got him, but I've just been talking, just back and forth, calling and emailing about something with dental,
Hmm.
right? So that's generally going to be the case, and it might be your number one, you know, um, I guess, talking point when clients call in. If they had questions, it's generally tied to that. So uh, here are the people that that you need to sell a dental plan to every sale. Here are the demographics. So it's going to be under 65 in general. So I'm going to start with ACA, because why? ACA itself does not cover dental,
Right.
right? Except for child orthodontia, like we went over, for the most part. For the most part. Now, also, there are short-term plans for people that are under 65. So ACA replacement plans, if you will, the all states, the what's the other one?
Like
UH1s,
National General, some of the different short-term medical plans, right?
exactly, National
Obviously, those
General.
don't have dental either.
Exactly. All National General, now Allstate, don't have dental either. Exactly. So so you sort of construct it as a package, which a lot of people in the under 65 field do, that know how to do this, right? That aren't just NPN sniping everybody, guys. There's other ways to sell under 65, ACA or short term and limited benefit plans, which is basically another type of ancillary policy, like your affordable choices, like your Philly Americans,
Mhm.
those kind of plans. Those are the limited benefit plans. Those people they're not offered, dental, right?
Right.
So another big one is obviously going to be those that have Medicare supplements. So anybody that has a Plan G, just like we were talking about, Plan Ns, what have you, even original Medicare, if they're if they're just those kind of people, just winging it, they still need dental, right? So those are the people that you need to every single sale add a dental policy to it. It's, I mean, unless they don't have any teeth, which a lot of times that could be the case, and
Sure.
you know, that could be the case. So if that is, then just make sure you're doing your due diligence to know how much implants are going to be, because implants are going to be offered with some carriers. For the longest time, carriers did not offer implants. And now a lot of companies are getting competitive with one of each other. So you definitely want to do your due diligence and see what products are out there. Just within the last year, there have been a lot of strides in terms of like out of pocket coverages and things like that. The maximums, how much they cover at one point, what kind of waiting periods there are. That kind of stuff has changed a lot in the past year and a half. So definitely want you to do. You have to, as an agent, do some of your homework on that. If you need help, you reach out to somebody that's decent at this. I know this is sort of a weird question to ask, like, hey, how much can I do dental for? But I mean, if you really need to ask people that are in the field doing it, and they're gonna have some kind of like advice for you or some kind of opinion on how they do their own. I'm just giving you mine.
Yeah. I've
So
noticed dental has changed a ton over the
yeah,
last decade or
oh yeah,
more. When I started in the business 18 years ago, especially when I got in the Medicare space, actually, right at 18 years ago, there was one dental product that we had. It was Smile Right by Great American, which actually it was Security Life back then, which has now become Emeritus. But that was
mm,
really the only product that was available for seniors, and it was terrible. I
yeah,
think it had $1,000 maximum on it. It paid very little for any of your stuff. But then fast forward to now, and there's a ton of dental products out there,
mm,
right? There's tons. I mean, Emeritus alone has at least 3 plans in every single state to pick from. Cigna's got a great one. Manhattan Life's got a great one. There are numerous others, Delta, et cetera. Like the list goes on and on and on. If
yeah.
I'm an agent and I'm like, all right, fine, I got to do my research. What are what am I looking for as an agent when I'm pinpointing what's a good dental product for me to be offering?
Thank God this part is easy, because it's going to be who has the highest, out of pocket coverage, right? That's generally going to be the name of the game. When push comes to shove, how much are you guys going to pay for my dental or my procedures that I did? So you want to look at the highest rates. I think the highest now is 10,000. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
that's with Nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And but here's the thing. So from there, you look at that number, which I think that's reason enough for you to get contracted with Nationwide, just because you have that in your arsenal. Now you're going to look at, do they do day one major work services, right? How much do they cover year one without a waiting period for major work services? And then how much is year two going to be? And does it, go up every year in terms of, the actual percentage as to what they cover? So that's also going to be a factor. And number three is going to be the network. Now, the number one plan that I sell is Manhattan Life. And then I have a couple others. Manhattan Life is a Carrington PPO network, and generally not a household name unless you've been going to the dentist a whole bunch and you've had to say that name.
Right.
So Carrington PPO is going to be, the network that I like to use. And then of course there's plans like Delta Dental, which have, it's a sexy name because it's associated with employer coverage. And for anybody
Mm-hmm.
that has employer coverage, has some sort of Delta Dental, even Emeritus sprinkled in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more mainstream. Like I was watching this show on Comedy Central. You know who Aquafina is, Tony?
The
Like
water?
like the Asian rapper girl. She
No.
was on
I know the
Ocean's.
Aquafina water bottle that I occasionally buy.
It's
That's
a play.
I'm not
It's a
very into
playoff.
pop culture apparently.
Well, she was in Ocean's 8 or whatever that was female reboot was. But
Okay.
anywho's, I'm saying this to say this. So I saw like a show that she was on, and she was like, "Dad, look, aren't you proud of me? I got this job. I got Delta Dental as well too." And I was like, well, "This is pretty mainstream, you
All
know."
right.
But what a lot of people don't see with Delta Dental, and they just don't see the numbers, how much do they actually cover for, out of
Mhm.
pocket? How much is going to be the first year? I mean, is there a waiting period? Generally, they do have a waiting period unless you've had Delta Dental previously, and it's just you're just coming back to them. Then sometimes they'll waive that 6 month waiting period. But for the most part, they do have a waiting period, and even though the name is sexy, the plan is not. So that's sort of your job to do research on that. There's also uplines on dental. Tony, I don't know if you are, but I am. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can shoot me a message if you want. Now, with here's two other more not controversial, but a little bit more outside the box people that qualify for dental is people who are on MAPDs.
Mhm.
Okay, so there is a robust plan. I mean, it looks robust on paper with MAP, the policies that are ingrained into the MAPD policies. But I have had people say, "Hey, Andrew, I need better coverage from what this is. I have this plan, which just happens to be an HMO, so I have to get a referral to do this and go and do that." And it was so different from what I used to have. Maybe
And
with health,
prior authorization requirements as well, which
right,
come along
right,
with MAPD. That's the
right,
last thing you need when you're just trying to get some teeth filled and a couple of cavities
exactly.
fixed.
Exactly. And people denying you because it's a quote unquote HMO, because the people at the front desk at dental offices don't really know what's going on. They're trained, hey, if you have a PPO, let them in. If they don't, it's HMO, they then don't. And then they don't
Mhm.
realize there's different types of PPOs, and then there's different carriers of HMOs. And so
Mhm.
it's sort of your job to mitigate that as well too. So that comes a little bit with it. It's just not like a set it and forget it and hey, I just got you dental. You do sort of have to do your due diligence and research on that too.
Yeah, we've
So
definitely noticed some of the MAPD plans, and I'm not going to name any names because we're not here to bash anybody, but there are some carriers out there that put some really good looking numbers in their summary of benefits for what they cover on dental, but
right.
then actually finding someone that will provide that to you is a whole nother problem.
Yep.
Right. And that's the problem I've had with some MAPDs is that hey, look, you got 5K comprehensive dental coverage here.
Yeah.
Good luck finding a dentist to give it to you, though. Like that's
Right.
has been an issue with some of the different MAPD products I've known.
Right.
So I can certainly appreciate where you're coming from there in regards to like, hey, look, if you know your MAPD products well enough, like, hey, this is a great plan for all of this stuff. And yeah, it does say that it has 5K in comprehensive dental, but you know from experience that nobody really covers it. So, you probably need
Exactly.
to address that with the
Exactly.
standalone dental product.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're gonna be the ones calling you and saying,
Right.
"Hey, this plan that you got me, it doesn't have, the dental that I wanted." And I was like, "Well, this." So again, when we looked at the brochure together, it does look sexy on paper, does it not? But you're in an HMO system, ma'am or sir. This was what it was, right? So that's why I always like to bring up the plans that I'm looking at. Because one, for example, Manhattan Life. Oh, let me pitch them really quickly. A Manhattan Life. Then I'm just my head's spinning. I'm like, or my,
Well,
my,
yeah, I
my
mean,
gears
you
are
were on a
grinding.
Manhattan Life trip not too long ago because of all your dental sales. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I had to do it for the, for the trip. So, uh, so then at that point, I'm like, well, Manhattan Life is a company that I like, and they have higher limits, and there's no waiting period for this. Also covers your implants, also covers braces. I don't know if you need that, but it's definitely something you want to have. And also, with Manhattan Life, it works as an indemnity policy, right? So I know all this because I did my research, right?
Hmm.
Again, just like you guys, I was just looking at contracts. What's really funny? I met my upline for dental, Scotty O'Brien. I don't know, a lot of you guys know him. Um, I met him through Google, right? I
Really?
So I was like, hey, I heard of all these people getting these 40 level, 30 level, 30%, 40%, level, street commissions for a dental product. And I thought that was crazy at the time, because an accident product with some companies would be about 40, 45,
Hmm.
So I was like, well, I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit easier to sell that. I mean, of course, I do sell from cancer and accidents as well too. But I was looking at that and I was like, well, this product makes sense. It's an indemnity. If your dentist is not in network, then you can go outside of network, and it would just work as an indemnity. Of course, you pay up front and you file a claim, get the money back that you were supposed to. So gives you more freedom like that, especially if people are married to the idea of staying with their own dentists. Then it is just what it is. So that's the compromise you come up with, and then at that point, if they're just like, I don't know, or if they're sort of just on the fence, then you reinforce it back with the numbers again. Hey, right now you have 2,000. It's going to be 3,000 for your out-of-pocket maximum. That's the no-brainer.
Right. Let's increase
Is
your
that
dental.
correct? Exactly. So, well, that's exactly. So that's what that is. You just went up, $10,000 or $1,000 for your out-of-pocket maximum. Also, it covers, braces. It covers your implants. You know, that's a hot topic in our industry. Is what I would tell them. Just give them a. I think what works a lot is just between you and me, that kind of talk. With your clients. And I just sort of give them the industry background of what's going on with these dental plans, and then they appreciate that, right? Because
Sure.
one, again, going back to what it is reason number 3, most of you guys don't know what companies to use, and because of that, reason number 1, you haven't sold yourself. The mindset's not there. So as you can see, I'm completely brainwashed. I've actually done my research on all my companies, and what I did was at first all I had to do was Google, hey, Manhattan Life, and how can I heard about the commissions, like what do I do? And then funny enough, Scotty's the one that emails me back. I just went on the generic page, and a couple of years later, here I am, good buds with him, and have been on a good amount of trips with him. So there's perks to this, right? I mean,
Sure.
there's that part, and then there's the trips, and there's all the fun stuff as well too. You sell enough of this, you get a trip to Maui last year. The year before that, I was supposed to go to Tahoe, but
You went to Maui just on
the thing
dental
happened.
insurance,
Pretty much
right?
just on dental insurance alone. Yeah. Just on dental insurance alone at the Four Seasons for a week.
Nice.
Guys. So there's a lot that can happen with this. And again, I'm happy that I can speak out on this because
Sure.
a lot I just don't want agents being like timid to offer this product, and I don't want them to be in a situation where you can have this later. Like, you don't have to get this. Like, a lot of people want to solidify the first sale, that first, whatever the supplemental plan, the plan G you enrolled them into, the ACA plan you enrolled them into. They just want to get that sale done, and they don't want to keep cross-selling.
Right.
So that's the reason. And then, of course, you guys have heard, everybody in here, I don't know if this is going to resonate to a couple of you guys. Like, you could always add that any time of the year. Yeah, you can add that any time of the year because there's no open enrollment for dental. Okay. So yeah, just let me know later on, Mrs. Susan, or whatever. I try my best on that sale because anytime you cross sell something with ACA, from my experience and from a lot of you guys' experience that are also seasoned, is that it's a one call close kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You have to close them on that one time. I mean, you can close them a couple times after. It's just going to be a lot of touches and a lot of problems for you. So you just sort of have to, there are, even though we are order takers, I always joke, there are objections. So definitely want to address all of those.
And time kills all deals, right? So if you
That's
let
what I'm
them get
saying.
away from you, if you let that fish swim away for a little while, you're going
Right.
to have trouble getting them back on the hook and then
Oh, yeah.
reinvigorate them. Unless the only other option is if they run into a dental problem, right? And then hopefully they remember to call you back.
Right. Well,
Otherwise, they're getting marketed by other people as well.
Well, there's no way to, yeah. I mean, so that's the thing I'm talking about with the confidence of my products, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am very confident. Not too many people leave the dental plan unless it's a money issue. That's all it comes down to. Do I need dental right now? At the time I did, I already got my teeth cleaned and did all that. I might as well just chop the dental coverage. So, I mean, at that point, it's a year commission. It's a front-loaded year commission anyway. So it's not going to kill you year two, right? So
Sure.
this is going to be something to supplement your major medical production. So if you're doing Medicare and you're just doing, you're cranking out these MIPDs, you're doing, the best seminar presentations for a Plan G and just going over all the pros and cons and all that good stuff. You definitely still want to, incorporate, dental, and then just like how you're doing that, you definitely want to, you know, in that call, at the very
Yeah.
least, get them
How
there.
Here's a question for you. For everybody that you're selling an ACA plan to, or maybe a Medigap plan or MAPD, but let's just talk about ACA because I know that's kind of really your wheelhouse. How many people are buying what's the metric of how many people you sell an ACA plan to versus also buy dental with you?
Okay. So I would say the metric is, well, it depends on what kind of campaign I'm pulling off.
Okay.
Um, for some campaigns, it's generally just going to be like a major medical only campaign.
Okay.
Um, for some and for referrals, those are 100. I'm pitching that at the very least, pitching that, and giving them all the benefits and the stories of how it helped my other clients in that situation.
Okay.
So if it's yeah, of course everybody has their own marketing ways, and if it's just gonna be a hey, sign me up for a $0 plan because my ad said that, then
Right.
it is what it is. But I will bring it up. I would say, hey, dental is not subsidized. The major medical is, hence why you're getting that. But if you really think about it, the full total is going to be at $56 a month. Did you want to add that on? And make it simple.
Yeah.
It could be a text message even.
You want some fries with that shake?
You want that fries with that shit. Exactly. Right. So it's a pretty easy conversation in terms of it's just a matter of, explaining to them, how it all works. And then, just send them the brochure as well too. So they're not, confused, because trust me, when you send them a brochure that is better than the plan that you have, and because you've done all your market research of what plans are out there, you already know what plan they have. So if they're at work and if they say Delta Dental, or if they say, what have you, I already know all my rebuttals to that. And just comparing side by side the two brochures, that's enough to, you know, that that's enough for them to just be like, okay, the numbers make sense,
Right.
right?
Right.
Just let me know a couple of the other catches, Andrew. Why is this such better coverage? And go over some of the objection. Fulfill them, and then there you go. Dental is added on. It's a very decision.
Okay.
It's
What
emotional. Yes.
I was gonna say, what are some of the objections that you get most often on dental?
Do we have to add this, or yeah, for the most part, it's do we have to add this? And I say, no, you don't have to add this, but it's full coverage. Do you want full coverage? Just like, so I seed everything in the beginning. So I ask, hey, so you basically just want full coverage, right? You wanted the major medical, you wanted just doctor visits ever so often. I know you're not going to the doctors too much. Medicine, you said you're not really taking too much. And of course, this is more an ACA client. Medicare is a different conversation. And then you said you also wanted like hospital coverage and dental and vision, right? So I list every single thing I'm going to talk about, and hospital coverage being, an ancillary product,
Mm-hmm.
the day-to-day stuff being the actual major medical for the doctor visits. So I say that before, so it's seated. I frame it beforehand to be like, oh, okay. So you did want that before, right? And then I do a confirmation after saying, okay, so for the dental portion, this is what that's going to go over. And if I hear, okay, sounds good,
It's a buying sign.
and right again. So at that point, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and group everything together, right, and give them the full total, and then itemize it for them. If it's a say like a $2 ACA plan, which those exist, and it's a $56 dental policy, then it's sort of it's awkward, right? Because why pay $2 for something that's going to cover more, and then the most for dental? So the art to this is really breaking down, hey, the 56, it's not subsidized, like I was mentioning earlier.
Right.
It's not subsidized. The $2 is. You're actually supposed to be paying $371 a month for this plan. You're getting it for $2, right? They don't subsidize dental and vision. It is just what it is, through the ACA. But here's the deal, instead of you paying $271, you're getting full coverage, and that's going to be without your dental and vision. You're getting full coverage now with that subsidy at $58 a month. Does that work with you? And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we'll keep it there for now. I can change it later, right? Just so I just basically flip that, that objection on them. The most people get the oh, I could change this later, right? Like I can add this on later. Mine is I can cancel this later,
Mm.
right? So different type of way that a different type of way I want to hear my clients talk to me.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Would you advise that an agent take advances on dental on their
I
commissions?
personally I personally don't, but if if you're like a new LOA shop, if you're a new shop that just happened to hire a bunch of LOAs, I would say do it.
Okay.
Feed
I
their
just wasn't
family.
sure maybe if you felt like there might be chargeback issues with dental, if there's a higher cancellation rate in it, or if you feel like it's most likely a product that they're going to keep long enough to get through the advance period, or if there's something.
Yeah, it's a good product. Well, it's good to let them know that, because it comes with vision and hearing as well too, for the most part for these plans, except
Yeah,
for
the better
obviously.
ones do certainly.
Yeah, right, exactly. So if you're really breaking it down for them, and they have a copy of the brochure, if they requested one, then they're going to see that year one there's going to be coverage even for vision, and if vision was one of their their hot topics that they needed covered, then you break it down like, hey, it's 60% coverage for frames, contacts, lenses, eye exams year one, and then it's 70% year two. So it'll serve yourself better to keep this. The longer you keep this, the better your rates are going to be, and then generally they'll keep that. Um, the second year commissions, I mean, for some people, for some carriers, the commissions stay pretty stagnant throughout the life of the policy. Certain carriers that pay that heavy load up commissions up front, that's just sort of what it is, right?
Yeah,
It's something to supplement your residual income by having another six-figure income that you, of course, you do have to keep nurturing, and you do have to keep selling that. It's just not a one and done like an actual residual income product. But then again, it's hand in hand with the residual income products that you guys are already selling right now.
yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's the name of this game. None of us get rich selling one policy, right? We get rich by keeping a whole bunch of money on the books.
Or selling a couple policies, right? Even
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
if you're even if your client is on, let's say, Medicaid, right?
sure.
Let's just go down to, worst comes to worst here. So I've had clients as of recently, especially with all the people getting dropped off of Medicaid. I've had clients where, and also people getting on added on to Medicaid. I asked them, hey, somebody asks me, hey, I need to lower my income, and I do probably qualify for Medicaid. And at that point, I let them know, hey, okay, so for your dental, did you still want to keep that? Because Medicaid has like their Denticaid, and in California we call it Dentical.
Right.
And it's just college students that are trying to be dentists, like just sort of hacking and sawing at your teeth at Western Dental or something like that, right?
Yeah,
It's
no
just not
thanks.
not the best look, especially if you're getting something serious done. So, I mean, I just let them know what it is, right? If you guys have been to a Western Dental and all these Denticaid kind of places, you already know the vibes, right?
Yeah,
It's more like charity than an actual clinic. So I let them know how that experience is, and then just sort of let them make their own choices on that. And that's probably still like a 50% retention.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so always good to do that as well too. Now, yeah. So the way that I sell it is, most of the times in sales, the cliche is, features tell and stories sell.
Hmm.
And since this is an add-on plan, since this is an ancillary product, you're gonna have to go over the features anyways. Like it is a part of the thing. So you just let them know, hey, the difference between what you have and what we have, or what you're going to have, future pacing. And your implants, your braces and your max limits just aren't covered with your current policy right now. So this is actually going to be going to be my personal choice, Mrs. Moore, or whoever I'm talking to, Tony. This is actually my personal choice. So just, take that how you will. But I really, really love this plan. So just make it personable. I'm the one that actually suggested it, and they're buying you, not the product. But what also does help is the stories that you tell, right? The
Yep.
stories are going to actually stick it on. It's the stories that sells, the features that tell. So um, then at that point, you're going to tell a story about a prior client that got their that used the dentist out of network by the indemnity program part, or you're going to get somebody saying, yeah, that was so quick and easy, and I was in and out and I was just stressing over this. And you want those kind of stories, and then copy it from another agent if you have to.
Sure.
Sometimes make it up, sometimes make it up, but just, if you have a great imagination, whatever you really have to do, but just make it realistic and make it correct though. Make sure that you're telling the right things.
Yeah.
Um, but whatever you have to do to get the message across, because again, dental is the number one product that people under 65 are going to most likely use. And if you're in that field, you're going to have to know that statistic. So,
Agreed.
um,
That's where most of my dental is sold, is actually to people either in my warm market or people that come through our group that are under 65, and we end up selling it.
exactly. It's an
And I
easier sale,
It is an
right?
easier sale, and I have a story. That's one of the reasons I like Emeritus too, is because I have a story to go along with it. One of my best buddies needed to get a whole bunch of work done, and I don't remember all what he had to get done, but the estimation or the estimate came through from his dentist. I wanted to say it was something like $2,500 plus or
Yeah.
minus a few dollars. I don't remember the exact number. And he called me and was like, "Hey, can you help me with some dental insurance?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can." He's like, "Because this is what this dude wants to charge me." And so I told him, I was like, "Well, here's the good things about Emeritus. You get day one, even on major coverages. So even though it's not going to be, or it's only going to be 20, I think it was 20% at the time of your major of what you're trying to get done. The other nice part about Emeritus is that the network providers are on average about 35% cheaper on their negotiated rates versus other dentists. So if you think about that, combined with the 20%, you're probably going to save a lot of money. So if I were you, here's a few dentists that accept Emeritus and network, call them, run that same estimate by them, see what they're going to charge you." And he cut his bill like 60%. Bought
Exactly.
an Emeritus plan for me, went and got the work done that same week, paid less than half of what he was originally charged. And the dude still has an Emeritus policy with me. He's never canceled it.
How
So
much was that original bill?
I want to say it was like 2,500 plus or minus. It was a pretty big bill. And then he ended up paying about $1,000 for the work.
And how much did he pay in medical bills to go to the doctor the year before or the same year?
That I couldn't tell you. He did. I don't think he's ever been to the doctor. That dude, he's one of those guys, right? He's going to
So,
wait until something's completely broken before he ever goes to the doctor.
case in point, guys. So, right. So, if somebody is healthy and somebody avoids the doctor at all costs, but needs to use the dentist, that's generally what's going to be the case for people who are under 65. So, I'm saying that to say this: the magnitude of people that need this are high, right?
Absolutely.
I think the number one I guess objection to that is, oh, I have a plan set up, like a credit plan set up with my dentist. Most of the times they don't. Most of the times they don't even have a dentist. Most of the times they don't have a credit plan set up. It's just something that they've
Yeah.
heard, something that they may have done before. And mind you, guys, as of recent, there have been these high out-of-pocket maximum coverages. There have been higher and more robust types of coverages in dental within the last 3 years, right? I would
Mm-hmm.
say when Tony started off, when I started off, the coverage wasn't that good. And for like, I was just like you guys, I didn't really care for the coverage because it's not worth explaining. I was just like, oh, just 50% here, just
Right.
throw it on,
Yeah. I
right?
want to say like 5 years ago, the maximum benefit was about $1,500.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Right.
and
And
it's
now
and
you
it's
got 2,500, 5 grand, 10 grand on a couple of them out there.
right, exactly. So 1,500 was industry standard, and people were fine with it. And I was like, how the heck did people get any root canals done or any like oral surgeries or crowns, or like how did you get all of the? So
If
that
you were to speculate, why do you think there has been an influx of dental plans, and more importantly, such an increase in the different maximum out of pockets, or the maximum, not out of pocket, the maximum benefits?
I personally think it's because people don't buy them individually. They only buy them on like an employer coverage kind of standpoint where it's offered already. It's already included as
Okay.
benefits. So that, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right? Because it's already sort of out there, and then people don't want to add on more stuff, which they're not educated on.
Okay. Fair enough.
What about you? What would you say?
I think it might be a combination of one, the high cost of dental in general, right? Dental services have gone up. And I think two, I think in total, and I might be wrong on this, I probably want to look it up, but I would suspect that utilization rates are low enough that some of these carriers are like, hey, we can put a nice fat $10,000 policy out there. They'll probably never use all 10 grand.
Mm,
They're only going to
okay.
use 2 or 3 grand of it. Maybe, we might have a couple of people that actually hit their $10,000 benefit. I remember having the guy from Nationwide or National Care Dental was in our office when I was still at Precision Senior Marketing. And that was one of his points is like, we can put a $10,000 policy out there because most people are never going to use the full 10 grand. They're only going to use 3 or 5,000 of it, maybe. He's
Mm,
like, so we're usually never at risk of having to pay the whole $10,000.
right.
So that'll be
And
my thought there.
and also they have a percentage too, so it's not
Yep.
$10,000 that they give you. It's
Correct. You still have skin in the game.
of $10,000.
Absolutely.
Percentage of $10,000. So,
Absolutely.
um,
What dental plan do you have on yourself?
I got me a. It's a so I got I don't have an actual dental. I have one of those discount plans.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have so that's one of my other carriers that I use. Is with it's like One Dental. It's just like a discount
When? Yeah,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also have that in my arsenal, and I used to sell a lot of that. It's just not like real insurance, but it's a
Yeah, yeah.
discount policy, and I'm fine with it.
It's all
I
about what
used
you need. I have to have good dental coverage because I have genetic problems with my teeth that I have to take care of. So
Right. I mean, push comes to shove, I'm going Manhattan Life if something is going to happen like that. I just
yep,
I have good teeth. No, I was kidding. No,
you do.
I just thank you, Tony. Um, no, so yeah, well, yeah, so I do have that, and then my go-to is going to be Manhattan Life if, like I said, push comes to shove. Um, now let's see here. So again, I was mentioning you guys this, this story sell and then the features tell. Now, the reason why I say that, another reason why I say that is because it's a matter of some people will forget. Like I sell a product called Manhattan Life, right?
Hmm.
Some people will forget the conversations that you have. It's just natural, right? I mean, for
Naturally,
people
yeah.
who are Medicare, it's going to be recorded. I mean, I even record my ACA
Well, I
calls.
recorded it, but they're not. I don't think they're recording it. I can't imagine I have a Medicare beneficiary out there going back through their recordings, going, "What the hell did he say?"
Well, they might ask for them, right? If it comes down to it, if there's a if there's a if there's a what do you call that? One of those subpoena
Audit.
audits coming your way, you're gonna have to open those up. You're gonna have
Yes,
to
you are.
give it to them. But the reason why I break that down is because you do have to tell those stories because if they don't hear the word Manhattan Life or if they don't hear that actual ancillary product, twice or three times during the course of your conversation and what it actually does, and they have a story that ties in what it actually does and what company it was, then they're going to definitely remember that. And also, you're going to want to break it down during the cool down after you get the payment information and all is set, when you're going down through okay, so when you check your bank statements every month, here's how it's going to look like. You're going to see your major medical is this, and then you're going to see your dental is that. And also, we give you a quick breakdown, like a quick PDF sheet, just breaking down what you have. This is very, very crucial, along with telling a story, because it solidifies your sale. Because at that point, I don't know who a lot of people that do ancillary products
Hmm.
or sell ancillary products will get that sometimes. It's like, hey, I never paid for this life insurance thing. I was like, well, I did explain this to you, but that's just the nature of our business. We got to explain again.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We got to resell it every once in a while.
absolutely. So at that point, they understand because of that story that you told them. They
Hmm.
remember the story. They remember, and then they're like, oh, okay. Oh, I remember you to tell me. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I already have life insurance and great. So you just covered your own ass before, So everything that you do from the beginning of the sale to the end should be educational, informative, and very concise and clear. Hence all the tie downs and hence all the storytelling. And so I know it sounds like it's a lot, but it's actually not. This is actually like a 2-minute process for me, because I have a script in my head that
Sure.
the tonality and all of the things combined together where they're like, okay, that makes sense. That's where you want to get them to. So another thing that you want to watch out for is if you're selling let's say a $0 plan, like an ACA, silver ACA policy that has a $0 plan, or if you have like a MAPD policy or something like that, they just happen to want better dental. I can say better, right, with dental
Yeah.
when it comes to MAPD.
You just can't say best. I've got the best dental plan. You have the worst MAPD, but
Yeah.
let me get you the best dental to go with it. Yeah, you
Right.
can't do any of that nonsense in the Medicare world.
So then if you're selling a $0 plan, then you're gonna have to let them know that the dental portion, again, like I said, is not subsidized. Okay, so
Right.
that is the amount that you have to pay because the government doesn't pay for your dental. It's more cosmetic. As you can understand. Of course, it's health. If it's health based, then then the major medical can sort of chime in and you can do see what they're going to cover for that if it is going to be actual medically necessary. So if somebody wanted to get the dental policy, you do have to break down, hey ma'am, so this is going to be 61 including your dental and a major medical cost, and the $0, it's $0 because it's subsidized and the dental is not, and it just has been like that. Dental generally is not subsidized. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, that's okay. That's the actual premium that you quoted me, Andrew. So that's fine. That's actually what you want to hear. But sometimes you just have to work through that. Okay, so again, like I said, generally commissions are heavy loaded first year, as most ancillary products are, right? So this is a good supplemental product to have if you're just starting off cross selling, right?
Yep.
Just get on with dental first, and then find out which carriers you want to get with, or actually get with that first, and then figure out how you want to sell your dental. And then if you're going to specialize on ACA people to sell this dental plan to, or a plan G. Amendment PD is going to be a harder sell, but sort of the layup ones are going to be ACA and plan G.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, which carrier should I sell most of is, again, whatever you sold yourself on what the clientele needs in terms of numbers. If you need a root canal, major work, the deltas and the meritoses, no matter how much you like the companies, or it depends on how much you like the company and also, what their actual amounts that they're going to cover are. So just make sure, those two add up if that's going to be the one that you're selling. So you can, while you're selling it, have conviction in what you believe in, because if you don't have conviction in this kind of stuff, then it's just oh, Andrew, you know what? I was thinking about it and I can save $61. I can use it for blah, blah, blah. Right. So you definitely want to do that. So this is a 6-figure renewal opportunity alone. So this, I have a 6-figure renewal with across probably like 4 carriers for dental. And you guys can do this too. This is very, very, very easy to do. I know there's a lot of killers out there. And, if you have multifamily homes, these plans all add up, and, the compensation can be pretty good. So, and it's not that much work compared to any of the other products, in my opinion. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, listen, this has been fantastic. We're right at an hour, so I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But there you have it, guys. It's simple. Get yourself the right dental products, right? Research the ones you need. Get the benefits that are going to suit you. Sell yourself on it, right? Whether you need it for yourself, but sell yourself on the mindset and the need for dental. Find the right product. And I think what he said at the very beginning of the show is just ask everyone, right? If you ask everyone, then somebody's actually going to buy it. But if you only ask occasionally somebody, you're going to have a tough time selling it. So thank you so much, Andrew, for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another great, great Tuesday training. Stay tuned because we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. And next week, we're going to have Patrick Murakami on the show. Wanted to make sure I said that one right. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you guys again. And we'll see y'all next week for Tuesday training. Y'all have
Thank you guys.
Awesome day and an awesome week.